Hey guys, it's Mike here, and welcome to another edition of Dragon Ball Super Reviews, in which I'm going to be reviewing Dragon Ball Super Episode 63, and giving my thoughts about what happened during the episode, breaking it down and giving my own in-depth analysis of this as it goes along, letting you guys kind of know what I liked about the episode, and some of the things I might not have liked so much. I'll mix it in along the way. But this was the first episode we finally got to see on Crunchyroll in a simulcast, an hour after it aired or half an hour in Japan. Immediately we get to see it with subtitles that night, now on Sundays in America, and I think that they have the entire arc on there so far. I hope that they put the entire series on there so far, so finally now we can legitimately, legally support this series, and I can, tell my friends, go over here and watch it on this website. And now people, where do you watch it, Mike? Well, there you go, crunchyroll.com, so, check that out. And today I'm definitely going to break this episode down, so let's get into it. Another cool Future Trunks title page, but let's get into the actual substance of the episode. So this episode pretty much began with us seeing, Vegeta training, Goku finishing up his training for getting the Mafuba ready, and Master Roshi presented him with an urn. But the most awesome part of the beginning, I'd have to say, that we saw was that we, cut to Vegeta training, or we cut to the actual palace Kami's lookout, so to speak, and we actually saw it explode out of nowhere, and then we see Vegeta standing here, and I'm not too sure what happened in this case. It almost appears that they're presenting that Vegeta's power was so great, he destroyed the entire hyperbolic time chamber or room of spirit and time, and that's what this explosion was. He also kind of wrecked the palace, and we didn't really see Dende or Popo complaining too much. If Vegeta blew up a whole dimension just by powering up or by doing his training, I can seemingly see why they wouldn't want to complain. But, it's also possible at the time that he just stepped out of the chamber and then, powered up or something to be a dick. I mean, he is Vegeta and he blew it up. I don't know, but if he could blow up a dimension just by powering up or training or whatever and survive that in the process, I think it's time for some of those deniers of this series and their power to start, hanging those towels up and just saying, all right, I get it now. So yeah, basically after this, we went to the future again. We saw Future Trunks was recovering, and it looked like Mai was giving Trunks a senzu bean until it was revealed that it was actually Yajirobe. And Future Trunks freaked out, and he's like, wait a second, did you actually give it to me mouth to mouth? Did you do it just like I did to Mai? Or maybe he was assuming that that was all part of, his own hallucination, but it doesn't really seem to be the case. And Yajirobe's like, no, I wouldn't do that, man. What the hell is wrong with you? So yeah, essentially, I thought it was a pretty funny scene. There's a lot of funny scenes sprinkles out throughout this episode that I'll get into. But this actually set up something I'm going to talk about that I don't really know if I cared for too much in this episode. Mai was actually she found Black and Zamasu's hideout. And again, I really like the fact that we got to just see Black and Zamasu chilling. I guess they're the same person, so them hanging out with one another and talking is talking to yourself. I guess they are insane, so it makes a little bit of sense, but I always like just them hanging out, drinking tea at this, lodge in the woods, it's pretty cool. I always really like that. But there was, this subplot during the episode, or at least a tiny little one, in which Mai was trying to kill Black with this energy bullet, because apparently Bulma designed the energy bullet, and it was several times stronger than normal one. Now, I know that Goku, was blasted with a laser gun, and he was taken out of the battle against Frieza during that. But come on, this is dumb. This series, we have these great episodes, but then we have these little, logical fallacies that happen in them, where they're, shooting flashbangs at Black and Zamasu, and they're trying to kill them with bullets, and Mai keeps shooting them with her gun. It's just come on, I mean, these guys can blow up the universe. They killed every single god, but let's try and kill them with an energy bullet. I'm sure that'll work. Just come on. Let's be a little bit more logical with this series sometimes. But that's a little gripe. So of course it doesn't work, which it shouldn't have worked in the first place. I don't know why they would have thought it would. So Trunks comes to save Mai and them, and they escape. And so Trunks basically is formulating this plan, and there's some interesting stuff dropped in here, some actual good logic, some fight, mentality, in which Trunks is saying he drops his guard after he gets hit by an attack, so I'm going to take this opportunity in order for me to, go after them. I'm going to take out Zamasu real quick, and then I'm going to focus all my energy on Black, which leads to this awesome fight scene. And again, we see Trunks powering up into this form that we have no explanation for yet. I mean, it's blue and yellow on top of it, so it's like he's accessing God Ki and regular Ki at the same time. A little explanation would be fine for this, but it looks pretty awesome when he powers up. He gets all bulky, and then he becomes smaller, as Harold said in his video. He bulks and cuts at the same time. He breaks reality, I guess. I mean, look at the aura. But it set up this awesome fight between him and Black, where he and Black were actually fighting with, the swords. Black with his energy sword, and, Trunks with his sword that hasn't broken yet for some reason, I guess. We'll figure that out. I guess Trunks infuses it with Ki, like that's what I've always assumed, but we don't really know in this case. But before that, he takes out Zamasu, and it's interesting. Every time I'm hit, I'm filled with joy at my immortality, so I assume it's just because he's so arrogant and so self-absorbed that whenever he gets hit, he like completely lets his guard down, as Trunks was saying, and it just sets up this whole thing, in which he's taken out of the equation. And then Trunks starts going after Black. He was using the sword as a distraction so that he could get in this big attack, and that is the Gallic Gun, or Gallic Hoe. Another awesome thing for Trunks to actually see, or for him to do, and for us to see him doing, because again, as I said before, he's borrowed a lot of techniques throughout this series, and I've really liked, seeing him do that so far, using the Gallic Gun, using the Masenko, using the Final Flash. I mean, eventually Trunks is just going to use the Kamehameha, I'm sure, and that'll be the ultimate attack. Or watch, he'll use the Big Bang Kamehameha, and then, everyone will be like, but GT's not canon! Why is this happening? Is Super canon, Mike? And I'll just stand there and I'll whisper, but Broly. And everyone will lose their damn minds. But anyway, this scene was really intense too. For a second, I thought that during this episode they were gonna have a gigantic swerve, and they were just gonna have Black die, and then maybe Zamasu was gonna steal the time machine, go back in time to get Black again. He's like, yeah, we can't let that happen again, and set up the plans again. So it would be alternate main timeline Black, and then it would be alternate, there would be all these different Blacks, and I'm sure Black would wake up out of a coma and be like, oh, now I'm the third one, and then they would team up, and it would be a Crisis on Infinite Blacks, or Infinite Zamasus, or Infinite Future Trunks timelines, and their Earth is all messed up. But yeah, I mean, they even did this thing, when in Dragon Ball, when someone dies, they usually show them the outlines caught in the energy, and then it slowly blows away. So for a second I was like, no, there's no way they're gonna do that. And of course they didn't. But that was actually the end of the beginning of the first half of this episode, and man, this really blew by. This is really just an intense, awesome episode just so far. And honestly, the episode keeps getting better. So, check this out. Trunks actually grabs Zamasu after this, and he's like, immortal or not, there's gotta be a limit to this guy's regeneration. No matter what magic this guy's been put on him, there has to be some kind of limit. So I'm guessing Trunks didn't either, watch my video talking about what immortality does and how it works in Dragon Ball Super, which you can check out on my channel, or, it makes sense, because I guess he didn't see what happened with Buu. He, beat Dabura before they unleashed him, but I mean, they turned Buu into dust, and he came back, so I'm sure a literal immortal is gonna, stand a chance. And of course, Trunks' plan didn't even work. He didn't even get to use his attack, which would have failed, because Black was still alive, and he stabbed him right through, and he's like, oh, that attack was pretty good. I'm gonna have a bruise. So, good going, Trunks. Really the hero of this arc so far, aren't you? Or, of everything. I mean, again, it is kind of your fault that this guy became this guy in the first place, but then again, I mean, it is this guy's fault that it happened, because Goku was the one who was dumb enough to challenge him. He was the one who was like, I gotta fight this guy, he's really strong. So why are we only blaming Trunks? I don't know. It's Toei. They're probably like, we can't blame Goku. He's the strongest ever. His power is maximum +2. I don't know. So they arrive. Goku's here to save the day. Or is he? And, immediately Black destroys the time machine. Smart move on his part. These villains are actually kind of smart in this case. I mean, they are Kaioshin, so by default they should be dumb. But they're pretty smart in this case. They're doing a good job. And, Vegeta, he spent 6 months in the hyperbolic time chamber, and he spent a lot of time working on his one-liners. He was like, oh, if you destroyed the time machine, well, this is just gonna be your grave, and hey, we even bought a coffin. But hey, it's a little bit small, so you're just gonna have to deal with it. And he's talking about that urn. And, immediately afterwards, we see Trunks is getting back up with Mai. Now, I don't know if Mai gave Trunks a senzu bean or what. He just kind of wakes up and seems fine. So I'm guessing she did. But a little bit of visual continuity would have been nice in this case. Nitpick? Whatever. Don't care. Next. Anyway, so basically, there's a really funny scene that happened next, in which Zamasu is basically going through his spiel, the Ningen, it's, they were given all the intelligence by people like Guasu, who was a dope, and, I'm smart and you're dumb, I'm a god, you're not, blah, 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 and Goku and Vegeta aren't listening. They're just like, yeah, whatever. Hey, Kakarot, where's the urn anyway? And then Kakarot's like, wait a second, oh yeah, it was in the time machine. It kinda got messed up, I guess. And that was kind of it. I guess that it's very reminiscent, again, of what happened with Tien, where he showed up to try and seal away King Piccolo. Throughout all of his training, he actually broke it, so he wasn't able to use it at all. I mean, in the anime, like I said before, he was able to, but he used it against Drum, and that didn't work out for him either. So yeah, good job, Goku. You fucked it up again. And by the way, like, when they're talking, Black is just like, I don't think they're listening to anything you're saying. Then Zamasu's just like, I'm just being self-absorbed. It doesn't really matter. If no one's listening. And then Black's like, how truly godly of you. Gotta love that little back and forth between the two. Toriyama really excels at writing two characters at the same time. He's even said that in the past. So these two going back and forth talking, about their, little back and forth. I mean, they're the same person, so I guess technically he's writing one person 2 times simultaneously. This time travel stuff makes my brain hurt. But of course, the 2 dumbest characters in Dragon Ball Super right now, the 2 Supreme Kais of 2 different universes, show up to try and solve things. Gowasu is like, hey, Zamasu, I'm really tired of you. I'm I'm disappointed in you. What are you doing? You need to fix your foolish ways. And he's looking at the actual Zamasu. And then Goku's like, actually, you got it wrong. The other one is your student. And he's like, what? Say what? And, yeah. Very smart man, isn't he? Anyway, he failed, because he's an idiot. And so Goku brings up some really interesting points that actually every single person who's been watching this show has really been wondering, where the hell is Whis? You say all the gods were dead, but Whis isn't dead, right? And then, we actually get some information. I'm surprised that this guy knew and it wasn't the old Kai. I don't know why the old Kai didn't just come. I guess because he knows the Kai technique that he got from Deborah. Or something. Or not Deborah, Kibito. I don't know. But apparently Whis is actually an angel, and basically whenever the god that the angel serves dies, the angel is the attendant in this case, so Whis, the angel ceases to function until the next god appears. So it would appear that basically whenever the god of destruction dies, he's like a robot. He just ceases to function. It's kind of like the Joker in The Dark Knight Returns. Like, when Batman was gone for years, the Joker was, like, comatose, like, standing in his cell. And the second Batman shows back up, the Joker's like, Batman? And then he goes crazy again. He goes and fights, Although I never really know if I like that representation of how the Joker works. I feel like if Batman died or just ceased to be around, Joker would probably maybe take up his mantle or something. He would do something. Like, there's other episodes of shows that have actually gone into that, but it's pretty interesting, and it makes sense why Whis hasn't interfered at all, because he'd be able to wreck these people easily. It's just because the god died, so they're still not explaining how he died. I assume this guy got killed. Well, he got killed, by Deborah, but they didn't even say that in the anime. I don't know. They gotta fix the continuity. But apparently Goku is like, but he doesn't have any wings and his butt's not hanging out. So this raises all the questions of cherubim and, you know, Christianity and Dragon Ball Super and how Goku even knows about that stuff and, you know, religion and a lot of implications which really make this show, you know, hurt my brain even more. Or a lot of other people's, really. But let's just keep going. But again, you know, being useless and in the way, the two black Zamasus tried to kill the Supreme Kais, which would kill Beerus, you know, and the other god of Universe 10, I guess, from his universe. And, you know, Goku stopped him. Good job. So they were like, oh, Gawasu's like, okay, it's not too soon to undo what you've done. Use the Dragon Balls of this world to resurrect the ones you've killed. And then Black's like, oh, we destroyed all the Dragon Balls, so it won't happen. And so Goku's like, are you guys satisfied? Get out of here. And it's like, no, in this case, I shall bear witness to the end of my foolish student. But honestly, I feel like this is all, like, here for a reason. I feel like, why do they keep showing the link between the Kaioshin and the Gods of Destruction? Why do they make it such a big deal that they killed all the gods in this arc? Unless, of course, this is going to play a part in the actual finale and climax. And why would they insert Bulma into this situation, the two Supreme Kais in this situation, unless some big stuff's going to go down? They even said, oh, the Dragon Balls are gone now. So that makes me wonder, are they really setting up all this tension so that they could actually pay it off in a really negative, black, dark way, in which they have both of these guys die, two Gods of Destruction die at the same time, Bulma dies, maybe Vegeta freaks out, or Vegito if it happens, I don't know, and it causes, like, these big rage boosts to ensue, which actually allows them to defeat Black and Zamasu at the end. I'm not really sure what's going to happen, but I feel like, why do they keep inserting these two into this unless it's going to lead to something big happening? And I think it's highly possible. Now, you know, Goku's like, oh, which one are you going to take on? He's like, oh, I'm the superior to the real you, so there's no way I'm going to lose to a fake. So naturally, he was going right towards him, and for some reason, it appears that Vegeta's time in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber really buffed him up, really made him a lot more powerful, because apparently he starts wrecking Black. Like, he's increased his power this much in such a short time. Now, he was in there roughly 6 months, so I kind of wonder how it's possible that he can increase his power this much and this dramatically. He's like, oh, you aren't called a warrior race for nothing, it seems. Well, obviously, because they are the warrior, and he is the Prince of all Saiyans, after all. I don't really know how it works, but I'll get into that in a little bit. So basically, Bulma, you know, brings along a capsule, and she creates this whole big hangar, and she's like, oh, I'm going to fix the time machine here. You know, she brought all these capsules, so she's thinking ahead. Now, what are they going to use the time machine for? Obviously, they're going to go back to the past, perhaps, but then again, you could still go to the future with the time machine, so that could be leading to some other big stuff happening, too. And then Trunks shows up. I mean, I guess he's fine, despite this big hole in him or something. And Bulma's like, oh, I want you to fix this urn with the super glue I got here. You know, some space-age technology, people. You know, it's another funny scene. This episode really excels at having funny, humorous scenes combined with a lot of drama and tension. In a way, it's not really distracting, you know, not like, say, Mr. Satan popping up every 5 seconds during the Cell games, so we'll have to see. But Vegeta again starts, you know, overpowering and just dominating Black, and he's like, shall I tell you where you miscalculated? And here begins one of Vegeta's greatest speeches in the history of his character, and every single Vegeta fan either had a boner or they're getting pretty wet during this scene, I have to tell you. And they really, I'm sure they were really just going crazy for it. And so basically he's saying, you know, this body that you have right now was made with Kakarot's long, fierce history of combat, and for you it's nothing more than just a vessel. It's nothing more than a body that's to make you more powerful. But Goku spent his entire life working to become stronger, and only someone like him can use the true Saiyan cells within it, and you can see he's wrecking him. I mean, this is so awesome right here, I have to admit, as a Vegeta fan myself. And only Goku can use it to his fullest. And he just punches him, explodes, everything goes crazy. Black's just laying back there beat, and he's just like, why is there such a difference in strength here? And here we go with an awesome line that Vegeta, of course, was practicing for 6 months in there. He probably did this right when he blew up the Hyperbolic Time Chamber too, because he wanted to seem as cool as possible. Because Vegeta really cares about being cool, apparently. And he's like, would you like to know, while he grabs him by the head and he headbutts him right in the face? Because you're a fake, and I am the Saiyan Prince, Vegeta-sama. That's why. And with that, that was the end of the episode, and wow, that was a crazy awesome way to end this episode. And man, that was just, I don't know, it was just a roller coaster of emotions right there. We had crazy intense action, we had some tension, we had some stakes, we had some information, some, you know, dialogue established, in which we learned about Whis' background, how his character actually works, and why he hasn't done anything. And Vegeta got a really crazy power-up and beat the living crap out of Goku Black. And of course, I mean, he's beating up a stronger version of Goku, kind of, you know, even though Goku, yeah, I'm sure he's not going to count in this case. He's going to be like, oh, Goku, I don't count. I'm still going to beat you one day, you know, because that's apparently still his driving motivator, even though he's way more powerful than Goku right now. Apparently he's more powerful than a form that's more powerful than Goku and Trunks. So yeah, he could probably just wreck Goku right now without too much difficulty. Unless Goku uses Kaioken, which he hasn't this entire arc, and I don't know why. I mean, oh, it might make me not able to fight anymore, or I might die. So every single god dying in the universe being destroyed and everything is alright then, you know, because you don't want to not be able to fight anymore? Okay, I mean, the real reason I'm sure it's not being used is because Toriyama didn't come up with it, or just, you know, they came up with it in Toei, and then the manga came out, and it was completely different. They were like, oh crap, we gotta backpedal on this, but you know how it is. But this episode overall, really awesome, really enjoyed it. Talked about what I didn't like and what I did like, but overall I have to say that, really good episode, and I'm really hyped and really pumped for what's going to come in the next episode. And I'll be talking about that in my next video, about this at least, in my predictions video, which I'm going to go in depth talking about what I think is going to happen in the next episode from that next episode preview. And I really wish I could show you in this video because it's so awesome and I'm so pumped for it, but you'll just have to wait for the next one. So if you have, you know, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please take the time to do so, because I make content for Dragon Ball Super, but also Dragon Ball in general, anime in general, Star Wars, movies, and I do reviews for series as well. So make sure to subscribe to my channel if that sounds really interesting to you, and also hit the notifications button, because if you want to see all my videos when they come out right away, get notified about them, and go to my channel and see them, well, you're going to know right away, and a lot of times you might miss them otherwise, so I would definitely recommend enabling those. So don't forget to let me know your own thoughts down below about this episode, what you thought about it, and what you're looking forward to in next week. And as I always say, stick around, because there's a lot more to come in the future.